Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, the legislative session is underway, and we have taken some time to kind of break down certain bills, kind of give you a summary of what's going on. There's one bill that I don't think is going to get that much attention, and yet I think it is the absolute most dangerous piece of gun legislation to come through the state of Washington in a long, long time. And if you want to talk about the quickest and easiest way for your rights to get trampled, it's through the passage of this bill. So today, I want to start getting you all educated so that you can understand the importance of the fight we have in front of us. So let's talk today for a few minutes about a bill to let the Seattle City Council make its own gun laws. Okay, before we get going down the road we are going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to you by Federal Way Discount Guns. That's right, Federal Way Discount Guns has been serving South King County right in this location right here for over 30 years now. Now listen, in addition to having one of the top-notch retail facilities anywhere in that part of the county and an amazing indoor facility and wonderful staff that Mo has assembled there, as we know, the good folks at Federal Way Discount Guns have drawn the ire of your Attorney General. Listen, we all know what's going on with Mo and all of the good folks down there at Federal Way Discount Guns. We know that the battle that they have in front of us, and we know that in many ways this battle is not only being fought for them, but for all of our rights. If you are interested in helping out the good folks at Federal Way Discount Guns with the mountain of legal expenses that are likely to incur over the next year, you can go ahead and click on this link right here, or you can scan this QR code right here. You can go to a crowdfunding site and show the good folks at Federal Way Discount Guns some love. For more information, visit Mo and all my good friends down there at federalwaydiscountguns.com. Okay, so the issue we are talking about today is House Bill 1178. It is just been proposed. It is sponsored by numerous representatives, and this is a bill that does away with state preemption. Now, let me explain to you how state preemption works. There are two statutes you need to understand. State preemption is basically the law that says, you know, when it comes to firearm restrictions, what we're going to do is the state of Washington gets to set firearm restrictions. That way, whether you're in King County or Whitman County, whether you're in Grays Harbor County or Okanogan County, it doesn't matter. The gun laws are all the same. And for some of us that like to go frequently over to God's country, known as the Palouse, we go through many different counties on our way to the mothership and back, and we go through multiple political environments in doing so. What a trick it would be if the gun laws changed based upon jurisdiction to jurisdiction if we went. That's the beauty of state preemption. Now, I get we do not like what the state of Washington does to our gun rights, but at least there is some level of consistency so we know how to behave no matter where we are in the state of Washington. Now, the statute that actually blocks cities from doing that is RCW 9.41.290. That statute specifically states, the state of Washington hereby fully occupies and preempts the entire field of firearms regulation within the boundaries of the state, including the registration, licensing, possession, purchase, sale, acquisition, transfer, discharge, and transportation of firearms, or any other element relating to firearms or parts thereof, including ammunition and reloader components. Cities, towns, and counties, or other municipalities may enact only those laws and ordinances relating to firearms that are specifically authorized by state law as in RCW 9.41.300 and are consistent with this chapter. So then you can also see that in addition to 941.290, they reference RCW 9.41.300. Now, it's this big, long word salad statute that looks a little something like this. And in that, there are several areas where we cannot take firearms. This is some of our gun-free zones. In this section of the statute right here, this is where the very few limitations are placed on cities as far as what they can do. And they can restrict zoning, and they can restrict where you can have gun ranges and things like that. But beyond that, Cities, municipalities, and counties are given very little, if any, discretion to set their own gun laws. Now, let us remember that according to the Washington preemption statute, the state has the sole authority to regulate the entire field of firearms regulation within the boundaries of the state, including the registration, licensing, possession, purchase, sale, acquisition, transfer, discharge, and transportation of firearms or any other element related to firearms or parts thereof. So you see all of the different areas where a municipality or a county could get involved were it not for the existence of RCW 9.41.290. It is literally a gigantic shield that prevents the city of Seattle from inflicting even more damage on its citizens. Then, what little authority cities, counties, and municipalities do have, and they have a little but not much, is found in RCW 9.41.300. So those are the two statutory schemes. What House Bill 1178 does is very simple. It absolutely repeals RCW 9.41.290, which means it's gone. We have no more state preemption. And then any of the limitations on what municipalities can do in RCW 9.41.300 is also repealed. Yeah, whoever drafted this legislation literally wrote 3 sentences because most of the rest is a strike-through. Now, after they repeal this portion of 941.300, what do they replace it with? Well, they replace it with a new section that would read as follows. This chapter does not affect, modify, or limit the power of a city, municipality, or county in this state to adopt an ordinance or regulation relating to firearms that is in addition to or more restrictive than the requirements of this chapter. So what they're saying is hey, you know what? We're going to take the reins off all of the cities and the counties, and you will be allowed to set your own firearm regulations. That means magazine restrictions. That means ammunition limitations. That means storage provisions. That means transportation provisions. That may mean all new concealed carry provisions based upon local jurisdiction to local jurisdiction. Folks, what I'm telling you is if this bill becomes law, this is an absolute disaster for every one of us, regardless of what part of the state you're in. Listen, I get that some of you, especially east of the mountains, have local jurisdictions and municipalities that you can be proud of that protect your Second Amendment and other God-given rights. Those of us who live in the Puget Sound region, however, we don't experience that same thing. However, this is not that big of a state, and we have lots of reasons to travel around the state, whether it's for business or for leisure, for vacation, for pleasure, whatever it may be. And do any of us want to have to bone up on every city and county's gun laws? Do some of us need to take our perfectly legal firearm, which we are carrying in one county, and then have to unload it, lock it in our trunk in a locked case surrounded with barbed wire to drive to the next county? Because that's exactly, as you know, what's going to occur if this bill becomes law. Can you imagine a scenario for those of you already living in King County where crime is escalating on a daily basis, local law enforcement has been completely defunded, that now the city of Seattle or King County is going to be able to also disarm you? That is exactly what House Bill 1178 does, and that's why it needs to be defeated this legislative session. What can you do? We're going to put a link down below on how you can contact your legislator. You need to contact them early. You need to contact them often. You need to be polite. You need to be professional. You need to be direct, and you need to tell them what you think of this legislation. In the meantime, if you have any questions about state preemption or anything else related to your Second Amendment rights, you guys know the drill. You can always contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. Now, let's everybody remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.